going to start with number one. All right. It's because I work here. You get to work with me. No, I'm just joking. That's not a reason. In fact, if I were you, I'd steer clear. If you see me coming, you see this blackberry is what the color of this truck is, what they say. I think it's purple. It's a darker shade. But if you see me coming, you gotta go the other way. I don't know. But seriously, guys. So pay. Let's talk about the pay. 42 cents per mile as a company driver. No experience. Absolutely none. Now, you find companies out there that's a mega carrier that's going to train you, that's going to pay you 42 cents per mile to drive their truck with zero liability. Absolutely none. No liability. You find them. They don't exist. Well, they do. It's called Prime. It's right there. If you get a lightweight truck, they'll pay you 47 cents per mile. It's 5 cents extra on top of whatever they pay you. And I'm talking about the base pay. So if you have some experience, you might get more money based off of what experience you have. So 47 cents to drive a lightweight truck. That's the little tiny one you've seen, right? Pretty much a little coffin sleeper. About a 36-inch sleeper, maybe. I don't know if it's that big. So basically, you got 2 seats in the front, and your bed's like right there, with a very small cabinet in between, I think. But I know a lot of those guys that get those trucks will take their passenger seat out to open it up to, one, make more money, but two, also they have a little bit more room if you're going to be solo. And that's something to think about. Some people like the lightweight trucks, some people don't, you know. So that's all into what you want. But if you know you're going to be having your family travel with you, or like your spouse, you know, it's not a big deal. Just let them know, hey, this is the situation. I need a full-size truck. And they'll give you one. Not a big deal. You just need to make sure you tell them before they assign you a lightweight. All right. So there's that. There's the pay, right? 72% if you're going to do lease, or you're considered owner-operator with Prime. You're 72% of the line haul. Number 2, training. All right. A lot of these companies will train you, but what Prime does, Prime takes a different approach to training. Now, I guess for some, it might not be helpful to have it like that, because they don't really sit in a classroom and teach you, okay? It's self-learning, where one, you self-learn to pass the written exams, all right? And a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll have study groups up at Prime, up in Springfield, study and like quiz each other. You know, that'll help you out just pretty much to pass the test, all right? But your real learning starts when you go out, if you have no license, with a PSD instructor, or you go out as a Prime student driver, your PSD, okay? You go out for 10,000 miles of over-the-road training. So from day one, you give it to your trainer. He'll probably have you on the pad just to make sure you're shifting correctly before he takes you out in the traffic. You know, make sure you kind of get your bearing, and he kind of feels comfortable with you maneuvering the truck safely at low speeds first. And once you get that down, and they'll take you out into the city and maybe hit the interstate for a few exits. And once that's done, they'll go ahead and go on your dispatch. Okay? I know some trainers for the first load, they might, you know, just kind of, excuse me, I'm getting ahead of myself. We're still talking about PSD. So that's how PSD is. And the whole time you're doing PSD, that PSD instructor is in the passenger seat while you're operating the truck. And there may be some times where he would drive, but he'll only have, like, I think 4 extra hours to drive, where they consider that like pretty much a super solo truck. So you guys get a little bit further. But pretty much you're going to be doing your driving shift in like 10 or 11 hours. Probably a little bit less at the beginning until you get comfortable, unless you're just ride or die, you know. So there's that. And when you finish the 10,000 miles, you come back to Springfield and you take your driving exam, your practical behind the wheel driving examination. And then you got to take a back-end examination, and then you're also tested on a pre-trip inspection. So once you satisfy all those requirements, you'll be issued a commercial driver's license. Simple, right? So once you get that, you go back out 30,000 miles with the TNT instructor. And those are team miles. So the first 10,000 with PSD, that'll take about 2 weeks, all right? The 30,000 miles is going to be about average about 5,000 miles a week. Divide that up, you're looking at about 6 weeks. You might be able to do it in 4 if you got to get dispatched in 4 or 5 weeks. All right. So total time, probably 2 months if you have no license, about a month and a half if you have a license. That's what you're looking at. But what I mean by Prime takes a different approach to it is that first 10,000 miles, you're getting that behind the wheel day in and day out, doing what you're going to be doing, on the job training, not staring at a PowerPoint telling you how it should be done. You're going to actually be doing it. And the instructor to student ratio is 1-to-1. Whereas you go to a regular driving school, you're going to be looking at maybe 10 or 15 people to one instructor, if not more. And then at the end of it, you're going to be in so much debt, like, it's crazy. I don't get it. You're hearing my thing going off. We're really, really light. I've only got 3,000 pounds on the trailer, so we're going uphill right now. There's a dart truck. I'm pretty sure he's loaded down pretty good. But, so there's that about the training, right? And once you do all that, you go back to Springfield and you test out and become an AC driver. Or you're pretty much solo and on your own. So that's how pretty much Prime does training. All right. Now, the thing also about Prime that I like is they also take into account your comfort level. They're not going to put you in a truck by yourself that you don't feel comfortable to operate. So if you don't feel that a month and a half of team driving is sufficient for you, go back to, let them know that, hey, I don't feel comfortable. I want to go back out with the trainer some more. Slow down. There's traffic around. So you do that. Let them know, hey, I don't feel comfortable, and that's okay. They'll put you back out with the trainer until you personally feel comfortable. It's not a big deal. No one's going to judge you. No one's going to chastise you. And in fact, your trainer's going to absolutely love it, probably because they're going to make more money because you're on the truck. Now, you're not going to make that much money. So let's talk about the pay for training really quick. This video is getting lengthy, isn't it? I'm only on number 2. The pay for training. All right. So for PSD, you're not an employee of Prime. It's just like going to a driving school. If you go to a driving school, you're not going to get paid. What Prime does do is they give you a food allowance pretty much, where they advance you $200 for those pretty much 2 weeks. It might be 3 weeks if you're kind of not catching on to it. But pretty much 2 weeks you get two $200 advances to help offset your cost of food while on the road. It's not intended to pay your bills. It's just intended to feed you while you're pretty much out here doing this. And once you get your license, you go out with your TNT instructor. You consider it Class CC, and they give you $600 a week, and it's a guarantee. So there's a mileage rate. If you don't meet the 5,000 miles in that week, they're gonna adjust your pay up to $600 gross. And that's what you're gonna get. And then after that, after you consider Class BC, after about another week or 2, depending on you, your guarantee is going to go to $700 a week until your training is complete. Now, if you don't feel comfortable, like I said, you're going to continue to make that $700 even though you've done the miles until you go back to upgrade to your own truck. So you got to think about that. All right, so that's number 2. So 1, we had pay, 2, we had training, and number 3, we're going to talk about options. So a lot of companies you go to, there are not that many options as far as what divisions you can go to. At Prime, we have 3: reefer, flatbed, and tank. So you can do your PSD reefer and then do your TNT training flatbed. Or you can do your PSD flatbed, you might not like it, and go to reefer or tanker or whatever suits your needs. But whatever you do though, if you do PSD, you need to make sure your TNT training is in the division that you want. Because if not, you're going to have to do further training and you don't want to mess that part up. But, so there's number 3, options. 4, support. All right. They've got a great support system. We've got Qualcomms in the truck. If you have a question about the mechanical aspects of the truck or trailer, all you got to do is get on the Qualcomm and send a message to Road Assist. All right. 24/7, 365. Someone will get back to you. All right. And give you an answer. And if they can't give you an answer, they'll point you in the direction of where you can get an answer. All right. Your dispatcher. When your dispatcher's not there, we have night dispatchers and weekend dispatchers. So there's always someone there to help you out in case you're still having problems. And no one really minds. Like if your dispatcher's not helping you, You go ahead and call a fleet manager. It's okay. You can call his boss. So it's not a big deal. You know, no one's gonna be like, "Oh, you stepped on my toes." That's fine. It's not a big deal. And obviously, everyone has their own payroll person, their own log person. So every step of the way, like if you have a logbook question, you just get on the phone, call your log manager. You know, they'll answer your questions. And it's okay because not everybody's going to learn every single thing in training. You know, even I still have questions. So it's fine to have questions. It's perfectly fine. It's normal. If you don't have questions, that's when people start to worry about you because you become almost like a know-it-all, you know. You can't tell him nothing. You know, he knows everything. You don't want that to be you. All right? That's support, number 4. And moving to number 5, I'm going to say cohesion. Now, obviously, there's like 4,000 or 5,000 employees of Prime Inc. So we don't all know each other. However, let's say I'm delivering to a place and there's another Prime driver there. I'll usually help him out. He'll usually help me out. You know, no one's like, I haven't run into anyone with a just bad attitude about anything. Even back it into like places, you know, I'll usually go help them spot them or vice versa. And not just Prime drivers, other drivers too. So I guess cohesion, as an industry as a whole, people need to work on that part. You know, I see a lot of guys in the truck stops laughing at other drivers trying to back into these parking spaces. You know, like instead of laughing at them, get out your truck and go help them. Especially if they're backing up beside your truck, because you don't want them to hit your truck. I don't want anybody to hit my truck, and I don't want to hit anybody else's truck. So if I'm backing in next to you, hop out. If you're not doing anything, you know, make sure I don't hit you or others, you know. I'm going to do my part and do what we consider goal or get out and look. That's GOAL, goal. Get out and look. That's an acronym for you guys to remember. Whenever you're not sure of something or you're not sure of like where your trailer is and you're backing, get out and look. Stop the truck. It's a whole lot better for you, your company, your dispatcher, your fleet manager, you know, everybody. If you take your time and don't hit anything, even if it takes you 10 minutes to back up, if you didn't hit anything, you succeeded. Well, that's the way that I look at that. That's all that matters. You know, it might take you a little bit longer than others to back up. That's okay. You know, I'm not going to sit and judge you. You might make some people mad if they're waiting to get by and you're in the way, but you know what? At the end of the day, when you get in that parking space, man, you're still going to have a job. You know, you hit somebody, that might be iffy, questionable, you know? You might not have a job at that point. So you got to take that into consideration. So that's number 5, cohesion. And just to recap, you know, we talked about pay, training, options, support, and cohesion. Those are my top 5 reasons to work for Prime. Now I'm going to go ahead and conjure up a list now. And I should hopefully put this video out today and maybe tomorrow, I don't know, about the top 5 reasons not to work for Prime. Okay? Because I want to give you both sides of the spectrum, you know? Because not every company is the best. You know, I'm not saying Prime is the best, but Prime is definitely not the worst. And so far, I've enjoyed working here. And it's been a really, really good decision on my part to come here. Because I was going to go to KLLM. My friend's over there, he's in the lease division as well. Man, some of the stuff I hear, I'm not knocking KLLM if you work for them, you know, but some of the stuff I hear is just crazy. Like, he went to the weigh station the other day, just going to put this out there. I got like 40 seconds before YouTube stops me. But freaking, he went to the weigh station, permits weren't valid, ticket. That's on the permits department. It's on the driver to make sure the permits are good, one, but I mean permits that are supposed to be long-standing, like, you know, permits for the truck, like, that kind of falls back on the company a little bit too. You know, I don't see why those permits weren't valid. So, but, you know, there you have it, guys. That's my list of the top 5 reasons to work for Prime. Like my video, subscribe, share it if you like. Look forward to the top 5 reasons not to work for Prime Inc. I'm out.